The moment a man starts ignoring you, most women make the same mistake. They chase, they text again, they call again. They ask, what happened? They check when he was last online. They wonder if he is talking to someone else. They replay the last conversation in their head, searching for the one thing they might have said wrong. But what if the moment he starts pulling away is not the moment you should move closer? What if it is the moment you should step back, become quiet, and let your actions speak louder than every message you could send? Because here is something you need to understand. You cannot force someone to value your presence by constantly reminding them that you are there. Sometimes your absence says what your words never could. And if he is ignoring you, there are 3 things you need to do. Not to manipulate him, not to make him jealous, not to play childish games, but to protect your peace, rebuild your confidence, and give the relationship enough space for the truth to reveal itself. The first thing you need to do is stop chasing the explanation. I know that sounds difficult. You want answers. You want to know why his energy changed. You want to know why he went from texting you all day to barely responding. You want to know why he used to make time for you and now suddenly seems too busy. But chasing an explanation from someone who is choosing silence will only make you feel smaller. Think about it. If somebody wants to communicate with you, they will find a way. Maybe they are busy. Maybe they are dealing with something personal. Maybe they need space. There can be many reasons for someone becoming distant, but you do not have to destroy your peace trying to guess which reason it is. Let their behavior give you information. You don't need to interrogate someone into treating you better. You don't need to send a paragraph explaining why you deserve communication. You don't need to keep asking, are you mad at me? Sometimes the strongest response is no response, not because you don't care, because you care enough about yourself to stop begging for clarity from somebody who isn't giving it. And this is where your power begins. When you stop chasing, you stop giving his behavior control over your emotions. You stop waking up wondering whether he texted. You stop checking your phone every 5 minutes. You stop creating stories in your head. You stop measuring your worth by the speed of his replies. And suddenly you begin to remember who you were before his attention became your emotional currency. That woman is still there. She just got distracted. The second thing you need to do is redirect your energy back into your own life. Because when someone ignores you, your mind wants to make them the center of your world. Don't get up. Go outside. Work on your goals. Take care of your body. Spend time with people who genuinely love you. Build your career. Ride something that challenges you. Work on the dream you put on hold. Become so invested in your own life that his silence is no longer the loudest thing you hear. This is not about pretending you don't care. It is about refusing to abandon yourself because someone else became distant. There is a huge difference. You can miss someone without chasing them. You can love someone without losing yourself. You can care about someone and still maintain boundaries. And you can hope someone comes back without sitting at the door waiting for them. Your life cannot stop because somebody decided to become unavailable. Your future is too important. Your purpose is too important. Your peace is too important. And when you redirect your energy, something powerful happens. You become emotionally grounded again. You begin making decisions from confidence instead of fear. You stop asking, how can I make him want me? And you start asking, is this relationship giving me what I deserve? That question changes everything. Because love is not supposed to feel like an audition. You should not have to perform for someone's attention. You should not have to compete with silence. You should not have to constantly prove that you're worthy of being chosen. The right connection should not require you to destroy your self-respect just to keep somebody interested. And if a man genuinely values you, Your confidence will not scare him away. Your boundaries will not scare him away. Your independence will not scare him away. Your ability to walk away from disrespect will not scare him away. It will reveal his intentions. And that's exactly what you want. You don't want somebody who stays only because you chase them. You want somebody who stays because they recognize your value. The third thing you need to do is let his actions answer the question. This is where many people make a mistake. He disappears for days. Then he sends, "Hey, stranger." And suddenly all the pain disappears. You respond immediately. You welcome him back. You give him all the attention he was missing. And then he disappears again. Now you're trapped in a cycle. Distant. Attention. Hope. Disappointment. Distance again. You cannot build a healthy relationship on a cycle like that. So when he comes back, don't just listen to what he says. Watch what he does. Does he make an effort? Does he communicate? Does he acknowledge what happened? Does he show consistency? Does he make plans and actually follow through? Does he treat you with the same respect he expects from you? Because words can create hope. Actions create trust. Anyone can say, "I miss you," but consistency proves it. Anyone can say, "I've been busy," but effort tells you whether you're important. Anyone can say, "I care about you," but behavior tells you whether that care has meaning. So don't become addicted to potential. Pay attention to reality. If he comes back, you don't have to punish him. You don't have to act cold. You don't have to pretend you don't care. Just slow down. Let him show you what he actually wants. Because a woman who knows her worth does not rush to reward temporary attention. She observes, she listens, she watches, and she decides. That is emotional strength. And here's the part nobody tells you. Sometimes when you stop chasing, he may come closer. He may notice the silence. He may realize that your attention is no longer guaranteed. He may start wondering what changed. But you cannot make that your goal. Because if your entire plan is to stop texting him so he'll text you first, you're still chasing him emotionally. You're just chasing him silently. The real goal is different. The goal is to become okay whether he comes back or not. That's when you truly become powerful. Because now your happiness isn't dependent on his response. If he reaches out, you can decide whether the connection deserves another chance. If he doesn't, you continue moving forward. Either way, you win because you did not lose yourself trying to keep somebody else. And remember this, being ignored does not automatically mean you are unwanted. Sometimes it means the other person is confused. Sometimes it means they are emotionally unavailable. Sometimes it means they are dealing with something you know nothing about. And sometimes, yes, it means their interest has changed. But none of those possibilities give you permission to attack your own self-worth. You cannot control another person's feelings. You can control how you respond. You can control whether you chase. You can control whether you beg. You can control whether you abandon your standards. And you can control whether you continue building a life that makes you proud. So if he's ignoring you, don't panic. Pause. Breathe. Step back and remember who you are. Because the woman who knows her worth does not need to convince anyone of it. She doesn't need to send 10 messages to get one response. She doesn't need to beg somebody to communicate. She doesn't need to compete for attention. She understands that genuine interest creates effort, and genuine respect creates consistency. Maybe he will notice your absence. Maybe he will reach out. Maybe he'll realize he took your presence for granted. But whatever happens next, make sure you don't take yourself for granted, because that's the one relationship you cannot afford to lose. Your relationship with yourself. So stop chasing the person who is running from communications. Start building the woman you are becoming. Protect your peace. Rise your standards. Focus on your purpose. And let people reveal themselves through their actions. Because when you stop chasing someone who is ignoring you, you don't become less valuable. You finally give yourself the space to remember how valuable you were all along. And now you need to understand something even deeper. Sometimes the hardest part about being ignored is not the silence. It is what the silence makes you believe about yourself. You start thinking, maybe I'm not enough. Maybe I'm not attractive enough. Maybe I said too much. Maybe I cared too much. Maybe somebody else is better. Stop. Don't let somebody else's temporary behavior become your permanent opinion of yourself. One person's inability to communicate does not define your value. One person's lack of effort does not determine your worth. One person's decision to walk away does not mean you are difficult to love. You have to stop making someone else's behavior the mirror you use to see yourself. Look at your own character. Look at your heart. Look at how much you've survived. Look at how many times you picked yourself up when life knocked you down. Look at the woman you are becoming. That is your evidence. And sometimes the greatest thing that can happen when someone ignores you is that you finally hear yourself again. You hear the dreams you stopped pursuing. You hear the goals you put on hold. You hear the voice inside you saying, I deserve better than this. Listen to that voice, because you don't need to become colder. You need to become wiser. There is a difference. Being strong doesn't mean you stop loving. It means you stop abandoning yourself in the name of love. You can have a soft heart and strong boundaries. You can care deeply and still walk away from inconsistency. You can forgive someone without giving them unlimited access to you. And you can miss someone without making them your priority. That's maturity. Now, if he reaches out after ignoring you, don't immediately assume everything has changed. One message is not transformation. One apology is not consistency. One good conversation is not proof that the entire relationship is healthy. Give people time to demonstrate who they are. If he says he misses you, let his actions support those words. If he says he was wrong, watch whether his behavior changes. If he says he wants you in his life, watch whether he makes room for you. Don't demand perfection, but demand sincerity. Don't expect someone to be available every second, but expect communication. Don't expect constant attention, but expect respect. Because healthy relationships are not built on perfection. They're built on consistency, honesty, communication, and mutual effort. And if he doesn't give you those things, you don't have to convince him. You simply have to accept what his behavior is telling you. That acceptance can hurt, but sometimes the truth hurts less than living inside a fantasy. You may have fallen in love with who you believe he could become, but you cannot date potential. You have to deal with reality. And reality is what someone repeatedly does, not what they occasionally promise. This is why you must stop making excuses for someone who continuously makes you feel unwanted. You can understand someone's circumstances without accepting poor treatment. You can have compassion without sacrificing your dignity. You can say, I understand you're going through something, while still saying, but I need healthy communication in my relationships. Those two things can exist together. And if he cannot give you that, you don't need to fight him. You don't need revenge. You don't need to prove what he lost. You don't need to post pictures hoping he'll see them. You don't need to make another man jealous. You don't need to become somebody you're not. Just live. Live so fully that your life doesn't revolve around whether he notices you. Wake up with purpose. Go to sleep with peace. Build something. Create something. Learn something. Law again. Dress up for yourself. Take yourself somewhere beautiful. Spend time with people who make you feel valued. And most importantly, become comfortable with your own company. Because once you become comfortable alone, you stop accepting almost love just because you're afraid of loneliness. That's a powerful transformation. You stop asking, how do I get him back? And you start asking, does he deserve access to me again? You stop asking, Why doesn't he choose me? And you start asking, why would I choose someone who keeps making me question my worth? You stop saying, what can I do to make him stay? And you start saying, what kind of relationship do I want to build? That shift is everything. Because love should add to your life, not consume it. And if you have to constantly chase, convince, decode, and worry, then something is wrong. A healthy relationship should have difficult moments, yes. But it should also have reassurance. It should have communication. It should have effort from both sides. It should make you feel challenged to grow, not constantly afraid of being abandoned. So if he's ignoring you right now, don't make a decision from panic. Don't send the emotional paragraph at midnight. Don't send 5 messages because he didn't answer the first one. Don't call repeatedly. Don't beg for attention. Take a breath. Give the situation space. And then give yourself something even more important. Perspective. Ask yourself, if my best friend were in this exact situation, what would I tell her? You would probably tell her to stop chasing. You would probably tell her to protect her heart. You would probably tell her that she deserves communication. You would probably tell her that she shouldn't have to beg someone to show up. Now give yourself the same advice, because sometimes you know exactly what to tell everyone else, but you struggle to give yourself the same wisdom. Don't do that anymore. Be your own best friend. Stand up for yourself. Choose yourself. Not because you're trying to punish him, because you are finally respecting yourself. And here's the beautiful thing. When you stop chasing, you don't just change how he sees you. You change how you see yourself. You realize you can survive silence. You realize you don't need constant validation. You realize you can walk away from uncertainty. You realize you can love someone and still choose peace. You realize your life is bigger than one relationship, and that realization is freedom. Maybe he comes back. Maybe he doesn't. But the woman you become while you stop chasing will be stronger either way. That's the real victory. Because you were never supposed to spend your life trying to convince someone to recognize your value. Your value existed before he met you. Your value remains if he leaves. Your value remains if he stays. Your value is not negotiable. So let this be the moment you stop begging for what should be given freely. Let this be the moment you stop confusing attention with affection. Let this be the moment you stop confusing chemistry with commitment. Let this be the moment you stop accepting breadcrumbs because you're hungry for love. You deserve a full table. You deserve someone who communicates, someone who makes an effort, someone who doesn't leave you constantly wondering where you stand, someone whose actions bring peace instead of confusion. And if the person you're dealing with cannot provide that, don't destroy yourself trying to turn them into someone they are not. Walk forward. Keep your heart open, but keep your standards higher, because being alone for a season is better than being with someone who constantly makes you feel alone. Remember the 3 things. Stop chasing the explanation. Put your energy into your own life, and let his actions reveal the truth. That's it. No games, no manipulation, no pretending, just self-respect. And if he notices your silence, that's his realization. If he comes back with genuine effort, that's his choice. If he never comes back, that's information too. Either way, you don't lose because you finally stop losing yourself. And maybe that's what this entire situation was trying to teach you. You were so focused on getting his attention that you forgot to give yourself yours. You were so focused on whether he would choose you that you forgot you get to choose too. You were so afraid of losing him that you almost lost yourself. Don't make that mistake again. The next time someone pulls away, don't immediately run after them. Pause. Observe. Protect your peace. And remember, you don't have to chase what is truly meant to stay. The right person will not make you beg for basic respect. The right person will not constantly leave you guessing. The right person will not require you to become smaller just to keep them interested. And until that person arrives, become the kind of woman who is completely at peace with walking away from anything that does not honor her, because your life is too valuable to spend it waiting for someone to decide whether you're worth choosing. Choose yourself first every time. And when you do, something changes inside you. You stop chasing. You stop begging. You stop proving. You stop fearing. You start living. And that is when your story changes. Not because you finally made him want you, but because you finally realized you never needed his attention to know your worth. You were valuable before the message. You were valuable during the silence, and you will still be valuable long after the silence ends. So lift your head, keep moving, keep growing, keep becoming, and let whoever wants to be in your life meet you at the level of respect, consistency, and love that you now require. Because sometimes the greatest response to being ignored isn't sending another message. It's becoming so focused on your life that you no longer need an answer to move forward. And when you reach that place, you won't be waiting for him anymore. You'll be waiting for nothing. You'll simply be living. And that is the moment you truly get your power back.